think it's clear to see, just based on last week's showing, and don't get it twisted, I'm not insulting Jorge Masvidal here. I've got a ton of respect for him because of everything he's been through in his career to get to the position that he's at. Like, for 17 years he was in pure obscurity, and then he goes on a reality TV show where he's away from social media, and he gets to think about everything that he's been through in his career. And then out of nowhere he gets the right mindset, and then 2019 he goes on an absolute tear where he beat a Darren Till that just lost to Tyron Woodley and was seen as the future. He beat obviously an undefeated Ben Askren. He beat Nate Diaz, who's one of the biggest stars in the sport. I mean, and he's on an absolute tear, and he wins the BMF title, and he done that at a time period where he was coming off losses to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. But I think it's fair to say the biggest quality that Jorge Masvidal has is two qualities that he has: is his ability to bounce back from losses and to keep going, his determination and his tenacity, and to some extent it's his charisma. I mean, I think it's his charisma that's taken him, his determination and his charisma has taken him to the pinnacle of the sport. I mean, the reason why he's such a massive pay-per-view draw, don't get it twisted, I'm not saying he's not talented at all. He does have talent to some extent. You don't get to that level where Jorge Masvidal's at to compete with the likes of Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington and such without having some talent. Like, he does have talent, but I think the thing that's made him a star in MMA is his charisma. Obviously his tenacity as well. I mean, to bounce back from all the losses that he's had, he's been knocked out, he's been subbed. I mean, in his last fight, obviously his last fight was against Colby Covington. He got completely destroyed, like out wrestled, completely dominated. The fight before that, he got knocked out by Kamaru Usman with one right hand. From him to bounce back from them back-to-back losses, obviously he's got like 15 losses in his career. I mean, it shows the tenacity that he has, but I think the thing that's made him a star is his charisma. I mean, him and Nate Diaz is kind of appropriate that they both fought for the BMF belt, because they're both cut from a similar cloth. Their ability to bounce back from failure and to keep going regardless of the odds that are against them has made them multi-millionaires. And on top of that, it's also their charisma. Both Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal, don't get it twisted, I think Jorge Masvidal in terms of his speaking is a lot more charismatic than a Nate Diaz. I mean, he comes across as more articulate and intelligent. I'm not saying Nate Diaz is a dummy, but I think Nate Diaz is smarter than he gives off. Like, he's a lot more smarter than a lot of people give him credit for. But in terms of the way they present themselves, I think Jorge Masvidal is a lot more articulate. I mean, it's fair to say, but that's what's made him a huge star and made him one of the biggest stars in the MMA. I mean, even though he's coming off this loss, before he was coming off this loss, I mean, he signed a contract with the UFC where he's going to be one of the biggest paid stars in the sport. He's got a BMF title. He's on the cover of UFC 4 with Israel Adesanya, who's a legit champion. I mean, the things that made him successful was his charisma, which he has tons of, and his tenacity. So regardless of his loss to Colby Covington, and obviously he had a wonderful stroke of luck in 2019. 2019 was his year. I mean, obviously I mentioned already what he accomplished in that 1 year. The way he knocked out Darren Till, the way he done the fastest knockout in MMA history by beating Ben Askren, and then obviously beating Nate Diaz. It propelled him and turned him into a huge star. But yeah, so from my perspective, he does deserve the success that he's had, and it's come from years of failure. I mean, for 17 years he toiled away in obscurity, fighting for low paychecks and such, and for him to go from that, and even from a personal perspective, obviously his dad was a immigrant that came from Cuba, literally like the Scarface story, on a banana boat, and then on top of that, like he used to be homeless. He used to sleep in his van to go training. Like this is a guy that's had a hard life, and for him to get to the level that he's at after 17 years of grinding and like literally fighting for peanuts, street fighting in the streets, and for him to get to the level that he's at, I mean, people might troll him and say, "Oh, he lost to Kamaru Usman, he lost to Colby Covington," but these are elite welterweights. I think he's just found his level, and obviously he's 37 now, so he's getting to that age now where he doesn't have the same energy and exuberance that he once had, and he with the style that he fights at, it's a young man style, even though he's been in the sport for like the past 18 years. So, you know what? I commend him. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire. He's been on pay-per-view like 3-4 times. He's been on the cover of a game. He got his own title, the BMF title, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but he done it with limited talent to some extent. I mean, he's not as good a wrestler as a Kamaru Usman or Colby Covington. He's not as good a striker as a Wonderboy Thompson. But to some extent, he's a bigger star than all of them fighters put together. I mean, he and a lot of that is to do with his charisma. Just to say, he's a lot more charismatic than Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He's a lot more charismatic than a Kamaru Usman. And even though Colby Covington's been grown on me, I think it's clear to say that I think there was a time when Jorge Masvidal was seen as more natural and genuine than a Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman and a Colby Covington, because both of them seem like they're trying hard. But with Jorge Masvidal, it seems like it's more genuine, like that is actually who he is. Even though both of them beat him, in terms of their character and their personality, it seems like they're playing for the camera. But with Jorge Masvidal, like you can tell that's basically who he is as a person. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Tell me your opinion. What do you think about Masvidal? Do you think he's overachieved in his career? Do you think he's underachieved? And where do you think he goes from here? Like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.